Hello, everyone, and welcome back to episode number 27 of the Sim Racing in Focus podcast. We are a podcast that talks about sim racing, as the name suggests, but in particular, the Australian iRacing scene. I'm your host, Dean Reddit, and with me tonight is, of course, co-host Jacob Packets-Hughes. Packets, how you doing?
I'm pretty good, mate, but yeah, by the sound of your voice, I'm doing a little bit more better than you right now. You're not well, are you?
It's been 39 degrees plus here in New South Wales all week, and I'm the only one that's managed to get influenza. So I don't know how you manage that, but that's how good I'm going at the moment. But we're still here, so we're still pushing on. But mate, how you managed the heat this week?
Yeah, it's all right. With the work that I do, I'm used to the heat. Like in this sort of temperature, I'll walk outside with a long pair of pants and a long sleeve shirt on, and I'll be fine with it. So I'm just kind of used to it. But yeah, it's pretty gross. So especially when you sit in the aircon all day and you walk outside for 5 seconds, you're like, nah, I'm going back inside.
Yeah, it's bloody brutal at the moment. Well, mate, as you're probably aware, well, you will definitely be aware, we're joined tonight by a guest. So it's been a little while since we won't classify Ricky as a guest. So it's been a while since we had a guest on the show.
He's more of a pest.
Yeah, he's more of a. I wouldn't be surprised if he just lobs in tonight out of nowhere.
Yeah.
But tonight, mate, I'm not sure if you're aware, but we've got someone joining us that is the 24-25 Oceanic Sim Racing Bathurst 12-hour champion, as well as the GT3 Pro Invitational champion from this year, as well as Ricky's own open split champion from the Premier Endurance League. I'm sure there's many other accolades that go along with this bloke. He seems to have covered just about everything in the Australian sim racing landscape, including F4 and Formula Ford Australian champion in Esports categories. Of course, I'm talking about Damon Woods. Damon, welcome to the show, mate. How you doing?
I'm good, boys. Pleasure to be here. There's plenty that is going on in the sim world at the moment, but it's good to be actually on a podcast to go and talk about it. So I'm super happy to be here, and I can't thank you guys enough for inviting me.
Right, yeah. Well, that's the show, guys. We'll see you next week.
That's a big wrap for us. It's a shame you couldn't get a higher caliber podcast to get on straight away, but we'll do our best, mate, to do you justice for tonight. That's for sure, mate. But look, what a massive year that you'll have had. Just give us, we'll just kick off just slightly here with give it a little bit of a year in review, what you've sort of participated in, because I think I pretty much only just touched on the surface level there in terms of your iRacing involvement, but mate, give us a little summary there of what your year's been like.
I mean, realistically, the year's been pretty busy from the Australian side of things. I've been pretty much competing in anything that ASRG's been running, so Logitech V8 Pro and GT Pro as well. And then Ricky, he invited me to do PL towards the end of this year, and hopped on to do that. On top of that, had a European program as well with Door Esports. So I've been with them for, I think this is my 3rd year now. So obviously we typically start off the year doing the iRacing special events. So your Daytona, your Bathurst 12-hour, which that went okay. It's definitely not the best season I've had from the European side of things. But hopefully we can turn that around for 2026. But then from there we went and did OSR 12-hour with Eclipse, which we were able to go back to back, which was really, really cool. We showed our form in the GT3, which a lot of our guys are mainly GT3 drivers. So it was right in our element, and we maximized the result there. And then from there it was V8 Pro, which was a very big thing for me, learning a completely new car and going into a completely different kind of community where a lot of the guys that have raced V8s, they've been racing it since 2014 kind of thing. So they've been in the community for, well over a decade. And here's me with a few of my other mates like Zach, Rattray White, Dylan Burst and Cody D. So they've hopped in and did it as well. And we're these new kids that are, 19, 20 that are, relatively new to the iRacing scene compared to your likes of Jared Philsell, your Madison Downs of the world. And yeah, we hopped in, we showed our pace, which was, I think, a big surprise. Obviously, Lobs was very, very fast, and they've always been very quick, regardless of what car they're in. But yeah, we spent a lot of work, especially Zach, spent a lot of work with the setup trying to get us up front. And by the end of the season, yeah, we were realistically the second best car on the grid. And yeah, we did as well as we think we could have. Jared was another league, but that's just who he is. Like he's just unbelievable. As much as everyone hates, not being able to beat him, like you can't fault the bloke. He's unbelievably good at what he does, and it's proven as well. Like before all this kind of stuff, he was in Porsche Super Cup, which in an inaugural season is ridiculous because you have the likes of Josh Rogers, Dane Warren, Sebastian Job, Freddie Rasmussen, like all the heavy hitters are in that series, and Jared was able to go and match them. So yeah, super impressive from his standpoint, and for us to be able to half match him or at least be there with him is a testament to what we're doing. But yeah, it's still something we need to try and do better to try and actually match what he's doing. But yeah, then from that, we also had GT Pro, which was, again, a GT3 kind of specialist, which helped with the result there. So we were able to win the team's championship. We actually get 1-2, which was really good. I mean, it's unfortunate. I don't think the series is coming back next year, which I was hoping it was going to, but it is what it is. But yeah, it's another championship to add to the accolades that we've got at the moment. And yeah, that's kind of my year in. And then obviously, we were able to grab the PEL GT Open as well, which was nice because it was an extra thing for me to be racing on a Sunday night where usually I'm doing nothing, ready to go to bed, go to work the next day. So yeah, it was cool to be able to have another series to go and race in.
But yeah, you just wanted your Sunday nights off, and next thing you know, Ricky's in your DMs getting you to go racing on.
Yeah, pretty much. But no, I enjoyed it. So yeah, big thanks to Ricky for taking the initiative to try and get me into that series. So yeah, big thanks to him.
Fair enough. I mean, what an impressive year, mate. Packets. I think Damon finished third overall in his rookie season in the GT Pro Invitation. The Logitech V8 Pro Invitational. Is that right, Damon?
Yeah, yep. So I was able to just grab third. I think it was fourth going into the last round, but we were quite strong pace wise, and TTR, who Josh Anderson drives for, he had a bit of a nightmare of a night. So I think finished fourth, was able enough to jump some points and get us P3 in the chip, which considering where I was like going into round 1, round 2, I'm like, yeah, I'll take that because realistically my expectations were like a top 10 for this first season. But yeah, to end up on the podium at the end of it, I'll take that every day of the week.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Like, so like now, since you started, like how long have you been iRacing for now? Like,
my first, I technically got the account December 25th, so Christmas Day 2021 was when I got the account. But my first pro season was 2023. So 2022 was kind of just building iRacing. I think I got to like 8 or 9K just through constant grinding, and obviously it was COVID, so 16-year-old kid that doesn't want to do schoolwork is always going to hop on the sim and just smash laps. So that definitely helped
and lock in
pretty much. So like, and by the end of all the lockdown stuff, I'm like, I do not want to do any schoolwork, so I was literally pretty much just on the sim the whole day, just smashing laps. So that's where I kind of had that little bit of breakout, and then 23 got signed to Door, and I've been with them since.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Because like I remember, like I've always watched, like I've only been started doing it since 2019, maybe 2020. I think I've started, and like I remember, I've always watched broadcasts like for iRacing, whether it be Australian V8 series or GT3 series. I watch a lot of broadcasts of people I've never heard of before. I just always have some sort of like content playing on YouTube at the TV. But I do recall like it was about a year or two. Yeah, about 2 years ago, I reckon, like, just saw your name just start to, like, pop up out of nowhere in a lot of these broadcasts. And, like, It's like your name was like always sort of in that top 5 range, like a lot of the times. And I was like, where's this? It just popped up out of nowhere, like. And then now I just see you everywhere and winning everything, and yeah, it's really impressive. It's good.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, yeah, realistically, well, not like I've said, but this year was my first, like, I guess, full season racing in Australia. So leading up to 2023, which was the first year I did some of the Aussie Championships. So it was, yeah, F4 Australia, Formula Ford, and S5000 E Series. They were the first Australian championships I ever did. So leading up to that, I'd only ever done special events and just officials. But even still, like, I was hardly seen in the Australian scene. I just did those select races through FRG. And even that continued through 2024. So realistically, yeah, this year is the first year that anyone within the Australian scene that doesn't look overseas would have seen me or any of my, I guess, mates more so actually competing in Australia, just because Europe's kind of not that good in terms of like being able to manage a life and then also do European racing, because you always have to do so many hours in the time zones and all that kind of stuff. So being able to race in Australia on a decent time zone, you know, be able to practice with your mates rather than having to, you know, be up at 5 a.m. to practice with the European guys. Yeah, was like, well, there's no reason we don't do this. And obviously with the Gen 3 supercar release as well, like, well, it's a fresh start for everyone. We'll go try and put as much effort into that as we can and see how we go. Because yeah, if we had gone into the Gen 2 car, we were going to be, you know, 6 years behind on development. And so yeah, we it was just the perfect opportunity for everything to kind of come together. And yeah, that's pretty much where we've ended up this year. And yeah, that's why my name's probably definitely been seen a little bit more this year, because I've, yeah, pretty much competed in anything that's been major throughout the Australian scene.
Yeah.
There's a lot to unpack there. But let's there's a lot, that's all right. I've got some good areas to take this, but let's just kick off generally, guys. It is well, the build's now released. It's been out now for a week, the new iRacing build that is. So I just thought we'd have a quick round here of thoughts on what everyone's opinion is of the build. Probably more specifically around Adelaide and the Cup car. They're really the two relevant ones for us, unless there's something else you guys can think of. Personally, I haven't done anything because my room's in tatters at the moment, so I'm going to toss it straight over to you guys. But Packets, give me your first reaction, you know, about Adelaide, the Cup car, and just anything else that you picked up or that you liked or disliked with the new build.
Yeah, so like the only things that I have touched on is Adelaide, Porsche Cup, and the movable tire barrier at Daytona. I drove into that flat out to see how far I could try and move it.
This is the expert analysis we're looking for.
Yeah. But Adelaide, I really like. I think it'll be a good track. I don't know about GTs, like maybe it'll be good, but then again, like when you look at it, like I already sort of said the other day in the Discord, it's like you look at Long Beach and Detroit, and there's like no runoff anywhere. Whereas in Adelaide, there's a lot of runoff, like for a street circuit, in my opinion. Like there's a lot of curbs, then a gap, and then a wall, and like to me, that's like a safer sort of street track. And I don't know, I did a couple of laps around there in the Cup car. And yeah, I loved it. I thought it was a really good circuit. And sliding over to the Cup car, despite what a lot of people are whinging about it with, I like it. I don't think it is completely easy to drive. I still think it's very easy to overdrive it, especially on the ABS. But it is a bit pogo sticky, but that is a bug, and apparently they're working on fixing it. But yeah, in general, I think it's good. Like, definitely like Adelaide, definitely like the Cup car still. And I'll keep driving that. So yeah.
What about yourself, Damon? You're logged in and you've had obviously the Logitech race at Adelaide, so you've probably got some good first-hand feedback about the track.
Yeah. I mean, obviously you watch supercars, you watch, you know, the Adelaide 500, like you go, oh, this is just an awesome track. You've always seen it produce great racing through the 500, even support categories as well. And yeah, to get that on iRacing and actually be able to like hot lap it is insane. Like it's so much fun to just try and smash laps because it's so rewarding. Like you go to like, I guess Bathurst is also rewarding doing hot laps as well, but that's the only other track that I've done like just smash laps for forever, and I get more satisfaction out of doing a good lap at Adelaide than what I was getting at Bathurst. And it's just you got to be so on edge and so precise with your inputs and balance the car through the staircase, get it through like the first chicane is you have to be so pinpoint accurate just to not slap the tire barrier on the inside, but then also not get a slowdown, as you hop the curb over turn two. So yeah, there's a lot of technicalities with the track, which I really enjoy. Like I said, the staircase is an awesome section regardless of what car you're driving. I've done it. I did laps in the cup car there, and obviously you can't take as much liberties with the curb usage just because of how the suspension is, but you could still get heaps of curb usage, but still be just under the limit. And yeah, there's so much satisfaction through getting in that section correct. And yeah, there's a lot of lap time between getting it right and wrong, which is even more rewarding as well. Like in the supercar, in the Logitech race, like if you slightly messed up you run through turn 4, which is over the first bit of the staircase, if you got that slightly wrong, you'd already lose 2/10, and you're trying to claw that back through the whole rest of that section. And like the difference between hitting a mega lap in quali, for instance, as well, and with how close it is as well in the Logitech series, like if you slightly messed up your staircase, which is more or less where the lap time was in the lap, you were buried, 3/10. So you dropped free lap time. And yeah, to get it nailed in that car was really, really hard just because of the traction. It's like with how we set the car up, it really on the nose, but it struggles a little bit on power. So we're driving in really hard to get over the curb, but as you try to put the power down, you're just like on the rear tire the whole time. So yeah, you had to be really, really pinpoint accurate to try and maximize the section. And then even in the race, to do it for 70 laps was really, really difficult. And it was a mentally tough race because of how demanding the circuit is. You can understand why when they did introduce the 500 for supercars, why it was such a demanding race, and why you see all the guys hop out and they're just absolutely knackered because you require so much focus, and the actual environment that you are when you're in the car is super hot. But then added the mental side of it, I can understand how you end up out the car and basically on the floor, like passed out kind of thing. So, but yeah, Adelaide was really, really good. I mean, for the supercars, well, we had really good pace. We were as quick as Lobs, if not a little bit quicker, in certain parts of the race, which we were really, really impressed with. And then on other things in the build, I really haven't tried too much because I was pretty much forced to pretty much hop on and straight away do Logitech laps. But I mean, from what I've seen, obviously Daytona's changed a little bit. I haven't driven Miami as well, so that's something I'll have to touch on as well. By the looks of it, it's actually not too bad for GT racing. So I've spoken to a couple of the guys in the European team, and they're like, the actually race is pretty good, especially in the Cup car. The Cup car's offered really, really good racing there.
Yeah, I was turned off by Miami, like when I seen footage of it and they were talking about it. I'm like, I probably won't buy that. Like, because like I bought the Mexico GP circuit and I hated it. And I'm like, oh, I will never do a race there. Like, I just don't like that track. And then I felt the same about Miami. And then I seen like the Porsche Cup races there. And I'm like, oh, this actually looks like a really good technical track. Like I might actually go and buy that one because it actually does look enjoyable, I reckon.
Yeah, like I was really surprised. I watched a few Twitch streams over the week, and like they were having genuinely good scraps, which you wouldn't expect from a pretty cookie cutter kind of F1 style circuit. But they're genuinely having good battles, and I think that is helped a little bit by the fact that the Cup car's got quite a strong draft, so you get a big draft train going. But even still, like there was plenty of passing opportunities. You could actually follow through the technical sections, which I'm surprised about. But yeah, everything half was flowing okay, where you kind of watch F1 and it looks like a bit awkward to drive, and you're like, that doesn't look too good. But yeah, it's actually a lot better than I expected, and I wouldn't be surprised if it gets chucked on a few calendars for next year as well.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to try and buy that one. I think I was going to put it off, but I think I will get it.
I did a great move during the Black Friday sales where every year I wait for the Black Friday sale to come on, Damon, so I can jump on iRacing and renew for 1 year.
Yeah.
And this year I had everything under control, and I was just I was waiting to the last weekend in November to do it, but I didn't realize I had auto renewed turned on, so my subscription auto renewed at the full price. So they don't apply the discount automatically.
Yeah.
So I've ended up, instead of doing $70 US, I've done 100 and whatever it was US.
90 or some shit. Yeah,
So I've put in the sob story email to them, and they've issued me back the extra money but in credits. So I've got all these iRacing credits. So all the new content's coming my way whenever I'm back on there. And I'll be getting it all the tracks, obviously. So at least I've got that to look forward to, and I don't have to. I'm not out of pocket for
iRacing.
That was the stupidest move.
Yeah, no. I mean, to be fair, I did the exact same thing. I was like, I think my renewal was like just after Black Friday, but I'm like, nah, I'm not missing out on it again. So yeah, cop the Black Friday 25% off. I'm like, yep, 2 years for me. I'll take that.
But so I've done that now for 3 years, and I don't know how many times I've turned auto renew off, but obviously it just keeps, every time there's a change to your membership status, it just turns it back on automatically. It's the most infuriating thing.
Yeah, it's always been pretty janky, that setup.
iRacing just trying to exploit you for your money.
Yeah, they've got all. They've pretty much got a mortgage on my bank account. Yeah, they got it.
I've spent too much money on this sim, man.
You just don't even try to acknowledge how much you've spent on it.
You don't want to look at the bank account. You just go, I've spent the money. It is what it is. Like, leave it at that.
Oh man! All right. Well, that's a good little summary there. But let's move on. I think we should kick off with a little bit of your real world racing, mate. Just looking into a bit about you and your profiles and etc. on social media. You've done a bit of F4 and Formula Ford racing yourself, mate. But give us a little bit of an insight into how that came to be.
So yeah, I'd been racing since I was 7, I think. So I did a little bit of karting before that, but yeah, went racing properly through an actual go-kart club at age 7, which came about through dad and my grandfather and my dad. They raced on and off. My grandfather did Oscar back in the 90s, and dad built his own 2-liter sports sedan, I think just before I was born. So he wheeled that around, and then obviously I came along, and that kind of got halted. But so from that, he was doing karting on and off with his younger brother, just going to the track, ripping some laps, and eventually one day I was going along, and this little go-kart's like sitting there. I'm like, oh, there's another kid here, and then they're like, oh, nah, you're driving it. I'm like, oh, sick. So so that was kind of my first introduction into it, and from there, slowly progressed. Obviously, dad is he's one of the smartest blokes I've ever met. Like, he's pretty much taught me everything from setup, how to drive, how to do racecraft. Like, I can lend everything back to him. So he's built me up pretty much from when I started all the way to where I am now through sim racing. So started actually racing in what was then called midgets, which was like a Coma motor, which I think was like 60cc or something like that. It was pretty bog standard, but did that. I think 2014 was my first year, just through club championship. Then 2015 went and did state titles in what was then renamed Cadet 9. So won that after missing around. So that was really cool. That was my third year in karting, and to win a blue plate, which is what they call it, was a pretty big achievement. And then 2016 I moved up class early, because dad was like, you're going in the deep end, you're gonna have to deal with it, sink or swim kind of thing. 2016 was a little bit more kind of just learning the ropes a little bit more with my racecraft, and being put in a lot more competitive kind of field. So that was the first year I did a national karting round. more or less got my ass handed to me. Pace was okay, but yeah, just being in a crowd being in a more competitive crowd was something that I hadn't been exposed to. And then so that kind of was that year. Then 2017 won the black plate, which was the Victorian closed titles. So it was still a state championship. So was able to grab another state title, which to grab that was again pretty cool. And actually being able to kind of acknowledge it, like I think I was 12 at the time versus when I was like 8 winning the first state title. You kind of understand it a little bit more when you're a bit older. So that being able to experience that was really, really cool, and actually feel the emotion of winning and knowing what it actually meant was something that was really, really cool. And to be honest, you can't get a better feeling than that. And then the year after, in 2018, I moved to running full-time Australian Kart Championships, which was on and off. Like had really good pace. We were in more or less pretty old equipment compared to everyone else, which is just how it is. We were kind of financially restricted to what we had, but showed our pace. I've finished 8th in the championship, but what was really good was the last round. I got given a prototype chassis from OTK, which is one of the karting manufacturers. So I was essentially the development driver for that chassis at the end of that year, which that kart was going to be released the next year. So we did a lot of R&D testing, Dad and I, on that. And we went to the last round at Todd Road. So obviously Port Melbourne, just under the Westgate. And was able to grab a heat race win in the wet. Led the final, like showed that I had really, really good pace. I think should have ended up on the podium, but my defensive skills were lacking a little bit. Got pipped on the last lap, but it kind of that showed that I could do the job, given the right circumstances. Which that kind of then carried on, I guess with Formula Ford as well. But then 2019 I did half a year and then hopped out. Came back early 2020, did a little bit of racing, not heaps. And then 2021, I got the opportunity to hop into Formula Ford, which came about through my dad's boss. So my dad's boss owns Alan Jones's 1980 World Championship car, and he's done a little bit of he does historic racing through historic Formula Fords, and he was like, well, here you go. Like it was essentially Dad's company cars, how he put it.
Okay.
And so that was it. That was essentially my sponsorship, was the car for that year. Well, as I was doing Formula Ford, the sponsorship was the car. And so we did Formula Ford 2021, and then we got cut half year because of COVID. So then had no time in a seat for a year and a half, which is when I then smashed out sim racing. So it was good and bad, because obviously didn't have seat time. But when I did come back in 2023 to do a full season, it's like I hadn't left, because I'd been doing so many laps on the sim, practicing my technique, practicing my racecraft, and was already steps ahead in terms of being prepared to get into the car again. And that showed in the first round at Sandown. Pretty much up the front. I think more or less we were, top 5 on pace the whole weekend. Ended up 5th in the last race, which for me was really impressive, considering, it was just Dad and I that were running the car, and we're up against, the powerhouses of Formula Ford, which is like your Sonic Racing, which, they run a cup car team, Borland, who develops one of the cars. So there was seriously good, teams and drivers that were in the series. And for us to run as a privateer and be able to compete with them was really good. And then moving forward to Phillip Island, which is a track that I absolutely love, and it kicked off really well. Like got pole off the bat, which is like, hell yeah, like privateer, beating these guys that paying 5 times the amount that we're doing to go racing, and getting a pole position, which that was awesome. And then got a race win in race 1, which was out of this world. Like I drove out of my skin to try and get that, and the relief when like I've never screamed so much under a helmet to like celebrate a victory as I did that one. And that was just a race win. So like obviously if you won a championship, like be off your head. But yeah, that was really, really awesome. So yeah, was able to grab a win there. Unfortunately, the rest of the weekend kind of fell apart, which was purely my fault. I drove like an idiot in the wet, thought I was a hero, tried to bomb it into Siberia, and just threw it off the road. And that put me on the back foot for the rest of the weekend. But then the last two rounds were mixed with the Australian Championship, which essentially most of the grid did the Victorian Series that did the Australian Championship, bar a couple guys. So yeah, Sandown round 4 and Phillip Island round 5 were the combined championship. Sandown, we had a rough time. We had a timing like a timing tooth skip on the motor, so we were just down bulk power all Friday and we couldn't figure it out. We're like, what the hell? So I went into quali with no practice all of Friday and was on for a lap to go top 3, and I got red flags that put us to the back. Had to work my way through every race, and it was just a pain in the ass. So that was realistically a weekend to forget, and that cost me, I think, a top 3 in the championship at the end of the year. But then went to Phillip Island for the last round and put it P3 in quali. I think we were a 10th off pole, and that was a 10th off the guy who ended up winning the championship as well. So that was really good effort. Racing kind of fell apart a little bit, which was partly my end and also a little bit with setup. But yeah, that was kind of that year. Finished 5th in points for the Victorian Championship, which I think was a good effort from our part, considering we did no testing all year, pretty much rocked up Friday practice, just like there to send it. And then off the back of that, we're like, the motor hadn't been rebuilt for 10 years, so we're like, well, we're going to go send it up to Queensland to get the thing rebuilt by the guys who do the controller motors. So we sent it up, got it back, and it was worse. We're like, well, this sucks.
Oh, no.
So yeah, 2024, we're like, yeah, we're gonna have a crack. Like we should be able to have a really good chance at winning the Victorian title. And yeah, we didn't get the motor back for round 1, so we got it back like a week before. So like, well, we're not busting our ass to do that. And then went to round 2 at Winton, and we were just slow. Like motor was terrible. We were like, no, this is just not like. I'd come off turn 10 going down the back straight, and I was getting pulled like 2 car lengths going into the corner. I'm like, well, I can't do anything more than what I've got. And so yeah, we were like, well, it's just not worth it. Not worth the financial burden of going racing, and at risk of tearing corners off the thing. So yeah, we were like, that's kind of where it is. And then yeah, from there I just went, yep, that's that. That's my 2024 kind of done. Hopped on sim. I was always like doing sim racing throughout of all of this as well, so I was always competing in something. And yeah, 2024, the end of the year was doing sim racing flat out. And then 2025, actually, sorry, at the motorsport games qualifiers in, I think it was like August or September. I met someone who had some pretty good connections in the world of motorsport, I guess. So from that, we kind of put together a plan to go racing GT4 this year. But unfortunately, as things often do in motorsport, that kind of fell through, which is what it is. It was a great experience. I got to test the GT4 car up in Queensland. So in the end, like it wasn't a horrible experience. Like I still got to drive a race car that I wouldn't have been able to drive before. So that was really good. The pace at that test was awesome. I would have been as quick as the pole car for the GT4 around that year. So it was a pain in the ass because I knew my pace was really good. But obviously, yeah, money is a big factor in the world of motorsport. And yeah, we don't have the bulk money to go and just, splash 200 grand on a season of GT4. So that fell through, which is what it is. I wasn't like down in the dumps about it. I was like, it just is what it is. So yeah, then pretty much just went, yep, we're doing sim racing full time. Tried to put a bit of a program together to go racing overseas in GT4 next year. But yeah, it was just really, really hard to try and find people that were willing to kind of back you for it, which is completely understandable. It's a lot of money. And to go and just spend it on a kid that wants to go racing overseas is, completely understandable why they don't want to do it. But yeah, so that's pretty much where I'm at now. And obviously, yeah, did plenty of sim racing this year, and I'm looking to pretty much just do it full time next year as well. And obviously with doing full time work as well. So that's pretty much my career up to the date. Sorry for rambling about that, but yeah, that's pretty much where we're at. And yeah, we'll see what we can do next year.
That's all right, mate. That's exactly what we want to hear is you rambling on. That's what we're here for.
Yeah. So,
just diving back a bit there, like to your karting days. So I'll take it you're from Victoria, is that right?
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Have you done much New South Wales racing at all with karts, or?
The year I did at Nationals, I raced at Newcastle, which that was really cool. That was like rocked up. I was half like already knew what I was doing with the track, but I think like my third lap in practice one, I launched the ski jump, like full on decked it. I'm like, I think I went through the first bit of it and got the kart set, and I'm like, yeah, right, we're chilling. And I flicked it back the other way, and it just like there's a mint photo of me like clipping the curb, and I'm all four wheels just like ready to fall off the track. Nearly cleaned up the photographer on the way through. Like I'm not doing that again for the rest of the weekend. But yeah, New South is
the people just don't realise how hectic that part of the track is though. Like it is
bonkers.
It's insane. There's a photo from like years ago. Of a guy, I can't remember
like
who
giving
it was.
one of these ones as he's going over.
The whole car's on the ground, off the ground, giving the shuckers midair. Like, it's gnarly. Every time it pops up on like a karting page on Facebook, people think it's actually Photoshop. I'm like, no, that's legit. That actually happened. Yeah.
But yeah, like the track itself was really fun. Like I love, especially like the speedball down the bottom of the hill. I was like, you come down there pegged like full sideways. And especially towards the end of the weekend where your tires were kind of like on the rocks, like ready to fall apart, you're going through there like full opposite lot, like trying to keep the thing steady. And it was just mega fun. Like the track actually lent itself to some really, really good racing.
Yeah. So I used to race there because obviously we're from Newcastle, and I used to race tag light there in the road tax, and it was my first race there, and the wheel hub on the back axle, one of them had a crack in it. Anyway, it was like towards the end of the last race of the day, and I was coming down the speed bowl, and just as I like sort of tipped it in that little bit to get it sliding, the whole cart just pretty much like 360 down through the speed bowl flat out. And then I ended up on the grass, and like next thing you know, I see my wheel go flying past me, and I'm like, holy crap. But yeah, it ended up cracking the actual hub, and the whole thing just went flying off the car. But that was flat. That was flat pickies going through the speed bowl. It was so scary. Like,
yeah, I could imagine. There's actually a mint photo of one of the KZ guys. Like I think he got tipped just before going into the downhill before the speed bowl. And there's a photo of him like backwards hitting the curb and launching it. And that would be nuts. There's some crazy shit happens at that track. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. That was probably one of the top 3 tracks like that I've driven.
A lot of people like it.
I loved it. Yeah, it's technical, but like it's not. It flows really well. Like you can get a good rhythm going, and I think that's why it was so enjoyable to drive.
Yeah. And it's brutal on the body too, that track. Because like I remember, like it didn't matter how you wore your rib protector or how you padded up your seat. Like I remember if I had a full weekend event there, if they did like the Newcastle Cup and whatnot, like on the Monday and Tuesday, my ribs would be bruised, like, and just my whole side of my body be black. Like, it's just brutal on the body, that track.
Yeah, and the worst bit as well is like there's no rest. Like you're always in a corner, and it's all compressions. So like speedball, like you go through one, you got like big compression, and then bang, and then as you go through the speedballs, another compression. You're just like copping it the whole time. But like I said, that was mint fun, and like was really, really grateful to actually have the opportunity to go race there. Like it wasn't the greatest weekend, but like I had a ball. Like the track was just mega.
It's sick.
How many post-race penalties did you get that weekend, Packets?
Hey, I tell you what, the whole time I race karts, and if you're listening to this, shut up. But the whole time I race karts, I never got a single penalty, and I only ever got disqualified once And that was so. It was the Newcastle Cup in I can't remember when, long time ago. Anyway, I think I put it in 5th for qualifying. Anyway, the first race, went out there, the battery started to let go. And on the road taxes, they rely on the battery for the all the spark and whatnot for the engine. So started breaking down, things started running like crap. So I'm like, I'll just pull over and I'll just sort of hang at the back and try and get some points. Anyway, one of my mates, he was just starting out. So he had the P plate on the back of his car and he was starting at the rear grid. There was 2 guys that were on their P plates and they were both just like banging into each other. And I was just sort of like following them around. Anyway, into turn 1 at Newcastle, he's clipped old mate's back wheel and it ripped him up over the top of his cart and then flipped him. And he did like a full Cool Runnings thing where he slid on his head in towards the gravel trap with the cart on top of him. And then as soon as he's hit the gravel trap in the turn 1, the whole cart's just like flung out and he's basically just sort of like done like a somersault and then like landed on his feet and gravel was just like coming out of his helmet. But because I was right behind it, I drove off flat out into the gravel trap. I'm like, holy crap, my mate's just died. So I've just like driven off flat out into the gravel trap. And I'm like, walked up, I'm like, oh, you all right, mate? You all right? And he's just like going, oh, like he fully winded. And he's just like, oh, did you see that? I'm like, yeah, mate, like just sit down. Like that was pretty brutal. But he was all good. They just had a concussion and whatnot. But yeah, they end up DQing me because I remember arguing with race control because they're just like, oh, mate, you're DQ'd. I'm like, what for? And he goes, oh, you got out of your car. And I'm like, yeah, but like, I thought my mate died. I'm like, I was going to see if he was all right.
Mate's doing a barrel roll, like, come on.
Yeah. So I'm like, can I appeal that? And he's like, he's called it in. They're like, nah, mate, you got out. Like, that's just the rules. I'm like, oh, that's a load of crap. But yeah, the only time I ever got disqualified was because of that.
I mean, it's a valid reason, to be fair.
Yeah. That's what I thought. I thought, surely you can let me off for this. Like, this is a bit of a joke.
Yeah.
Like,
do you know the context, Damon, of all Packett's post-race penalties in Premier Endurance League?
I do not. I'm assuming he's racking up the 25-second penalties on the regular.
Oh, well, he come back.
I've done that.
Yeah, he just come back for a guest appearance at, where was it, at Motegi after a while out, and he got slapped with 45 seconds of post-race penalties. Just being a chaos mongerer.
Oh, wow.
Which I
got off most of them.
Which he's appealed every single one of them.
Wow. Fair play.
There was one that I didn't. There was one that I didn't appeal. So in the end, I think it ended up being 15 seconds that I got.
To be fair, it's better than 45, so you'll take that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, well, I was going to put a counter protest in because I think that actually put him back in front of me. So I'd actually like another one of those. I need another 15 seconds put back on, so he finished it on. But anyway, that's awesome. No, that's awesome to hear.
Do we dare bring up Ricky trying to, make like when he was in here last week, trying to go, make sure Packers, has a clean race on the next round, and then Lord behold, there's Ricky in the middle of the track, parked up, and I freaking drive into him flat out.
Oh, was that you?
Yeah, that was me. Yeah.
I remember watching that because
I still don't even know what he did.
There? Nah,
he literally pulled over in the corner, eh? Just pulled over and then like tried to hit escape, and because like literally when you look at the replay, I hit a wall of nothing. Like his car's already gone.
Yeah,
There's just been a net code in it. Yeah.
You'd
already tried it. You'd already
he
tried
was still
it.
there and just cleaned him.
Yeah.
You already tried to bowl us out on lap 1, turn 1, though. You sideswipe Ricky and then you hit the back end of me. Bloody hell.
I was laughing. I was laughing so hard at that. I was laughing so hard because I was just like, so I tried, like, I didn't even appeal that because I was just like, nah, that was on me because I was so focused because I started rear grid, didn't even qualify. And I lifted early into that corner. And then as I started to lift off the throttle, I was looking at my mirror and I could see Ricky coming and a couple other people. And I'm like, oh, they're going to have a massive lunge at me here. And then like I rolled back on and then I rolled back off again and I looked at him like, nah, he's going to, I can see him coming. And as I've like taken my eye off the virtual mirror, I just see the car in front of me with its brake lights on. I'm like, oh crap. So I've just stabbed on him, and then I've realised that, I need to actually move over here. I'm going to clean this guy up. And then Ricky's beside me at that point having a mega lunge. So I just absolutely belt into the side of Ricky, which then sends me doing a like 720 off in a turn one, and I miss every single car except for Dean.
Except for me.
Wow. That's a job well done then, isn't it? Hit the bloke that you want to fucking want to try
That's
and
why
hit. So.
Yeah, it's why race control only gave him a 2-second penalty because he was
Yeah, well, 5 seconds.
No one of any significance that he took out. That's what the ruling was. But anyway, very good. All right, well let's get back to Damon and away from that travesty of a race at Fuji. So when you finished up your real world racing, when you first come into iRacing, were you mainly into the F4 though? Is that right? Into that open wheel category, or did you start off in GT as well?
I've always been GT main. So when my first year was 2022 when I was obviously doing the iRacing grind. So I did a little bit of just Porsche Cup. I think I had maybe a month or two in Porsche Cup, just grinding, and then transitioned to GT3, and obviously all the competitive guys overseas, which is where I wanted to be racing, were in GT3. So I pretty much just mained that. And yeah, that pretty much has carried on the whole time since I've been racing, at least competitively in Europe. But yeah, in 2023, Motorsport Australia hopped on to do S5000 Esports, F4 Australia Esports, and Formula Ford Esports. So I was like, well, I might as well go do that. So that's when I kind of jumped a little bit to open wheelers, but generally GT3 is kind of my mainstay, or at least tin tops is what I typically drive. But if there is an open wheel series, like I just finished up doing F4 World Championship, so yeah, if there is a championship to do in an open wheel car, I will go and do it. But isn't usually my preference.
Okay. Because I think that was the first time I seen your name popped up was the F4 Australia.
Yep. Which that checks out because that was the first kind of Australian thing that I did end up doing.
Okay.
Was this through our little F4 phase that we're going through, Dean? Is that about this time? There was a period there where you and me was doing random officials in F4.
The F4 series on the official service, I think, is possibly one of my favorite categories there is. Just
For
short
carnage.
races, and there's 3 tracks, and you don't even need to qualify. You just there's something about going and doing the sawn-off version of Oran Park in the F4 car and just starting at the back and watching everyone just eat themselves alive. It's amazing. I think my open wheel eye rating skyrocketed just from like a week at Oran Park. Just people just if people weren't dying, in turn 1 and stuff, they were hitting the pit entry wall at the end of the last. It was just death everywhere. It was amazing. But the F4 category, the iRacing officials is brilliant, I think, personally. But yes, I think it was roughly around about then. I think when we had Scotty Rankin come on, I think from memory he was talking a bit about you in one of the episodes as well, from some of the stuff that he might have been commentating at the time. So I wasn't sure whether he was wrapped up with that down there, but it was around about that time, yeah. So okay.
Yeah, I think Scotty commentated 2024. The F4
Scotty commentates
series.
on everything.
Well, to be fair, he wasn't really like 2023. I didn't see him commentating much, but yeah, 2024 I think was the first year I kind of really got into a series where he was actually doing the comms for it. So yeah, that would check out if it was 2024.
Yeah, definitely would, because I think we've been doing this now on and off for 2 years. So, but yeah, that's where I first noticed you pop up. So, is that Motorsport Australia involvement still there with F4?
No. So there's a funny story to that. So with the group of mates that I go racing with, so Cody, Dylan, before that I think it was Eddie Beswick, and maybe a couple other guys that we went racing with. And obviously we're in Discord together, as you'd expect. And we may or may not have been
Brilliant place.
we may or may not have been manipulating safety car restarts quite heavily. And as a result of that,
I
yeah,
like
so
this.
as a
This is
result,
where I like where this is going.
yeah. So as a result of that, we kind of forced a few rule changes within the series, both F4 and Formula Ford. And there was a little bit of carnage as well with some of the other boys. So usually there was two of us usually up the front, like just detonating the field, and then the rest were just like kind of half racing like donkeys and crashing into each other. So 2024 was the last year that they ran a Formula 4 Australia series and Formula Ford. And not bagging them by any means, the guys who run the series, but yeah, after it, they kind of said, look, we've loved having you guys in it because you've made the championship competitive, but you're not welcome back. So they banned all of us from racing in the championship. And after that, they haven't even run a championship for 2025. So in the end, we've slightly been the death of F4 Australia / Formula Ford Australia / whatever championship. I don't know. There might be some genuinely other factors as well, but we kind of find it hilarious that we got booted from the series, and then they haven't had one since. So, but yeah, that's kind of the little bit of lore that's attached with that. But yeah, we did some pretty interesting things in that series that forced plenty of rule changes. That's for sure.
That's really funny because like I'm surprised that
Where you going
stage,
with this, Packets?
Oh well, he just said he's just saying how they got told never to come back, and I'm like, I'm surprised that's never happened to our team, that we've been told never to come back.
Fair enough. I mean, to be fair, probably didn't help that we were like causing mayhem, but then also winning races. So they're like, well, we can't have these guys causing absolute carnage, but then still go win the races. So I can understand why they did nerf us, but yeah, no, it was pretty funny.
As someone that's privy to burning leagues down, that's pretty impressive.
I'm here to Friday, guys. So.
Yeah. So okay, so you're gonna have to change your name now when you want to enter any other Motorsport Australia leagues.
Nah, Motorsport Australia. I'm fine with Motorsport Australia.
Damon Timbers.
Yeah. To be fair, in the 2 years that I raced in that championship or those championships, I never got a penalty. I literally just got banned on association, which was the funniest bit of it all. So they banned the guy that won their last 5 championships, and I did nothing wrong, and just got booted because I was mates with him. So I was like, that's what it is. Collateral
damage. Fair. Well, there you go. You're on the high road at least. That's good.
Yeah.
Here I was thinking you're a troublemaker.
Nah, mate. They were doing the carnage.
About to give you a team invite.
Nah. I was 10 seconds up the road, and they were just like doing crazy shit behind me. So.
Oh, very good. Oh, well, that's. I mean, I don't know. I've had no involvement with Motorsport Australia, but they're in and out. So they were in F4 League, must have been one of their first ones, but they've been involved in a couple other leagues, I think, Australian scene. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I hope one would think that their involvement's good. But yeah, you hear different opinions and stuff. So
yeah,
we'll have to watch this space moving forward and see what they whether they come back in or not. Things seem to just be sort of steadying down a little bit now post-COVID, though, in terms of, let's say, real world involvement.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you look at like the year of like the last year of COVID and the year after, like you looked at the Le Mans Virtual Series, like the amount of people that were involved in that and all the real world teams were involved with it. Yeah, like there was so much, visibility for sim racing at that point in time. But yeah, I've definitely noticed it even like on the European side of things. Like it's slowly starting to it's hit its peak and it's slowly starting to just trickle its way down, which is unfortunate because obviously there's a lot of opportunities still within sim racing, but it's just people are kind of seeing it peak and they're like, okay, well, it's not that interesting anymore. We got real world racing to go and do. We don't need to worry about the virtual stuff. And it's unfortunate because obviously as someone that would like to go car racing again, being able to have involvement from a real world team or a real world organization is really, really cool. But it's very, very few and far between now.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I think I hope it comes again. It probably just takes another leap forward, maybe on the iRacing side of things, to bring it up to somewhere where they might see value in it a little bit more, as a training aid type thing. But yeah, it's definitely noticeable that it's quietened down quite a bit. But yeah, hopefully that comes back again, because it was kind of, I remember sitting in the pub watching like the V8s on the Fox Sports broadcast, like of what I can't remember what they call it, All Stars or whatever, but it was the genuine iRacing E series, not the supercar series. And that for a little while they had good traction, obviously, while V8s couldn't be on. But yeah, that was a cool thing to see.
It is unfortunate that has kind of not been able to continue on, but said people people are very they pick and choose where they want to spend their money, and sim racing is definitely not one of the things that they want, especially for racing teams. They definitely don't want to be spending stupid money to go racing virtual cars. So it's understandable, but yeah, unfortunate for the community, really.
Yeah. So talk to us a bit then. You mentioned that you started off racing overseas, and it sounds like you've been racing with a group of guys there for a while now. Were you always the sort of Eclipse Sim Sport team, or were you doing that through another team? Or you mentioned there that you also race for Door Esports. So give us a lay of the land really about your team situation with all those teams.
Yeah. So Eclipse Sim Sports is more or less just a mates team. So basically it's all the guys that I speak to pretty much on the daily. There was originally, like, I think 2021, there was an actual like Eclipse Sim Sports was like the thing, and a couple of them drove for that team. And then I think it was end of 2023, they're like, oh, this would be sick. Let's try and revamp Eclipse so we got something to race under when we race in Australia. And I was like, yep, that's sick. I was never a part of it, but obviously they're my mates, so I'm linked to it already. So yeah, we kind of
Guilty by
started that
association.
pretty much. So yeah, but from that we have kind of built a genuine like good team just on the back of us wanting to go racing. So like we've got some new signings that again, they're still mates, but like we actually are getting drivers into the team. So we're treating it like a real team, but we're still pretty relaxed with it. It's not like there's contracts or anything like that. It's pretty relaxed. It's like it's something to race under. But yeah, so then Door is a German esports team, and yeah, so through someone that I knew from a previous team that I drove for in 2022, I got approached by Door in 2023 because they were looking to expand from Race Room, which is what they had previously done, into iRacing. So they wanted to start an iRacing team. So I got approached. I went, yep, that would be really cool. It's what I wanted to do. I wanted to go, technically be a professional, get paid to do it. So yeah, from there I've kind of, that's where I've set myself in Europe. And yeah, so off that, Falcon Tires has become a title sponsor for that team. So technically we run under Falcon Sim Racing team for certain events as well. So that's really cool. It's cool to go represent a brand that has so much, involvement, especially in real world motorsport. So yeah, that from the European side of things, that's kind of where I'm at. Get paid professionally. Technically, it's not a livable wage, but it's still some extra money to go, spend on, whatever.
Yep.
And yeah, so that's like it's still awesome because I have something to go to race at the highest level against your Red Lines, your Coanders, your Williams, your Drago, all that kind of stuff. I have that ability, but then I also have the ability to come racing here as well. So it's a great mix. I think 2026 I'm a little bit more restricted with who I can and can't race for team wise. just purely through contract, but that's another
Yeah.
another topic. But in the end, I still will be working with Eclipse. Like, again, they're all my mates. So if we go racing in Logitech, I might be running a different skin, but I will technically still be driving with Eclipse because we do all the setup work together. And same with OSR 12 hour. It's more or less we're just a group of mates that have built this kind of banner that we run under.
Oh, nice. So what kind of, give us an idea of what leagues you're running with Door then internationally?
Yeah. So generally, it's, well, what my kind of contract is for next year, just to give a bit of an overview, is I'm there as a special event driver, obviously because time zones are quite difficult for me. And now that I am working a full time job as well, I can't just lend myself to endless hours at 4 a.m. You know, like I've
Yeah.
had to grow up a little bit in that regard. So yeah, I'm now technically just more or less driving as a special event driver. So as all the iRacing special events, so which I don't have an issue with. It works better for me because I don't have to worry about being up at 5 a.m. to do some race that's on a Friday night or something like that. But previously, I've run in IMSA Esports, which is pretty much the biggest GT slash multi-class championship that has been run in the last couple of years. That has all the heavy hitters, you know, like I said, Coanda, Redline, like the best boys on iRacing are doing that championship. So I've done that for the last 3 years actually. So I did 20, and they usually run at the end of every year. So 2023, 24, 25 was the years I've done it. 2022 actually managed to grab a pole position at Daytona, and then 2024, what did I say, 2023? Yeah, so 23 pole position Daytona, and then 2024 got another pole position at Daytona. Nearly won both races, which would have been really, really cool to add to the resume. To win in a caliber of in such a high caliber field. But then on that, we've also done digital NLS, so the real life Nürburgring series. Their virtual championship we are currently competing in. I'm not competing in it, but a few of my teammates are. But I have run in that championship as well. And then obviously I do the F4 World Championship. I was trying to do Porsche Super Cup as well, but it was stupidly hard to get into. And I don't think at the time that I was doing it, I was at a good enough level to even get into it. So yeah, that's kind of an overview of what I do for them. As I said, mainly special events. Occasionally we'll do like a 24-hour series esports event if they need another driver. But usually that's kind of reserved for the European guys because they can do them just through time zone and availability compared to me being on the other side of the world. So yeah, that's a rough overview. And obviously if there's one-off events as well that kind of come up, so like starting next year, they got what's called VCO Infinity, which is 24 races in 24 hours. So it's a different combo every race. And it is the best event that I've ever been a part of, because it's not like you get one chance to qualify, and if you get taken out, you're cooked. Like you have at least 6 opportunities to put in a really good quality lap and have potentially 6 really good races, and the racing is always fantastic. Again, it's against the best guys in the world, like your Redline, Coanda. Like you're competing at such a high level, but you got opportunity to redeem yourself from previous mistakes. So yeah, that I think is the same weekend as Bathurst 12 hour in real life next year, which that should be really, really good. So I'll be doing that under door, but Eclipse is also putting in an entry. So that happened in 2023 as well. And
You do 48 races in 24 hours.
Well, I'm only stuck to one team, unfortunately. So, but that's the kind of one-off events that if they pop up, we kind of do them as well. So, yeah, there's plenty going on. I love it. I love competing, especially now that I'm not in the real car. I'm definitely looking to try and take sim racing to a more professional kind of standard for myself. Because I've gone, all right, well, real life racing isn't going to work. I've accepted that. I've had 2 years pretty much out of a seat, and I've been able to live with myself not being in a real race car. So I can, now go, right, well, this is something I can do. It's something that I'm good at. I'm going to try and put as much focus into it as I can and see where I can end up from it. So yeah, that's realistically, where it's kind of everything's at for me, and that's roughly what the team overview is for me as well.
Hell yeah, that's awesome. Well, it's, there is still great opportunities obviously in sim racing, and there's plenty of Aussies that have been taken over to Germany, just for sim racing. So would you ever consider something like that if you got up into those ranks and that become a possibility? Whether you
absolutely, yeah, like obviously Porsche Command is probably pretty much the only one that has done that, where they've taken their drivers and put them overseas to be with the team. But obviously they've got the finances to do that because it is Porsche. But yeah, if that opportunity came up, regardless if it was for Ferrari or BMW or whatever, like I would jump on that opportunity, because when do you ever get an opportunity to go move to another country to go play video games? Like that's out of this world. Like that kind of thing just doesn't ever come about. And like for me this year, I got to go to Abu Dhabi for Ferrari Esports, which happened I think maybe a month ago now. So that was really, really cool. And again, you don't get those opportunities. So yeah, if they are given to you, you just take them and see where they end up. And said that the Ferrari experience that I had was unbelievable. Like, first time traveling outside of Australia, and I get to go to Abu Dhabi is to play games is awesome.
Okay, so you're gonna have to tell us a bit more about that. Like how did that come
about? So Ferrari run what they call their Ferrari Esports Championship. So it's run initially as a time attack qualifier, where they take the top 10 from each region. So Asia Pacific, America, and EU. They take top 10 from each region on 3 different games. So Assetto Corsa, ACC, and iRacing. And then they put them into what they call the regional finals. Then if you finish top 2 in the regional finals in each region on each game, you get sent to the World Finals, which is a LAN event at Ferrari World in Abu Dhabi. And you run 3 races on each game, 1 race on each game. So you have 3 races across the event. And so that's how I qualified into that. And then from there, so I won the iRacing race, which was really cool. And to do that on a LAN event with cameras in your face, having to actually do like interviews and stuff was something that I found really, really cool, because it's something that I've always wanted to be able to do through real racing. Have someone come up to you with a microphone after a race and you actually get your thoughts, and it's pretty raw. And that's something that was really, really cool. And doing all the social media stuff with all the videographers and all that as well was something that, again, I wish I could do through real life racing, but to get to do that over there was something I found really, really enjoyable. And then so through AC1 I finished, I think it was 4th, and it's a game that I've never played competitively. And same with ACC, I finished 5th on that. So I ended up 2nd overall by 1 point, which was pretty nuts considering I didn't practice for the other games. I literally just focused on iRacing. So it was a really cool experience. And to actually end up with a good result as well was pretty mega. And to finish 1 point off, considering when I don't really think I should have won the thing, I was like, I'll take that every day of the week. And in the end, I was saying to everyone there, I'm like, I'm just happy to be here. Like, I don't care how I go. I could finish last in every race, and I'm still gonna have a great time. So,
just enjoying the ride, mate.
Which I was just enjoying the ride. I'm like, when am I ever gonna get a free trip to Abu Dhabi to play video games? Like, come on, like that's just absolutely mega. I'm just gonna enjoy it as much as I can. And I had an absolute blast. Like, it's a once in a lifetime kind of experience. And to do that, like I said, to play iRacing and Assetto Corsa is like, what more could you ask for? So
it's a beautiful place, all about Abu Dhabi too.
Yeah, and it was the week of Formula One, so obviously I didn't get to stay for the race, which is a bit unfortunate. But the Thursday I left at 8 p.m. from Abu Dhabi, so I got the Thursday crowd come through, and it was just chock-a-block, like packed to the brim with people. And it was a Thursday. I'm like, this is nuts. So obviously it was a championship battle, so I can understand why everyone was there.
So this was only a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah. This was literally what,
Jeez.
3 weeks ago or something like that. So yeah, it was pretty cool.
You could have, I don't know, stuck a apple in Lando's exhaust or something for us
Yeah, look,
on the way out.
I could have done something. Yeah, don't get me wrong.
Don't think you would have got on the plane home if you tried, but yeah.
Yeah,
Don't know
I
if you want to be.
would have been thrown into a prison or
Yeah.
something like that. Yeah, but no.
Yeah, I don't think you would. It's probably not the country to do anything.
No, I think it would have been very, very bad for myself. But in the end, still would have liked to have seen Oscar win the championship. But what do you do?
I know.
Yeah.
Hope for next year. So,
Well, we'll pray that McLaren can actually build a good race car next year.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see what happens there.
Yeah.
With how his relationships is with McLaren next year. I'm sure it'll be fine.
Pretty broken by the looks of it. But yeah. That's motorsport.
This bloke didn't have a great relationship with McLaren here on the wall here, Denny Rick. I could have had any poster in the world like of his career, but I managed to get the McLaren one.
The McLaren one.
Race win. Yeah, I've got I've got perhaps
probably the worst part of his career.
His low light. Yeah. Even Renault was better.
Was better than that, yeah.
Yeah. Oh well, it's better than the black curtain though, right? Packets is what I've been rocking before. So
yep,
we'll do that. But I had no idea that you did that. So that's awesome that sim racing's opened that door for you to go and do that. Did you get on the Ferrari coaster while you're over there?
No, unfortunately, we genuinely didn't have time to hop on anything. So like, we had a day when everyone arrived to kind of do whatever we wanted, but we couldn't get into Ferrari World. And then whilst we're at Ferrari World, we literally were like always at the rigs, or like we didn't have time to do much. So it's unfortunate, but in the end, I'm still not complaining.
No, you wouldn't for sure. Oh, very good. All right. Well, okay. So I guess come back locally then now to the season that you've just had, and I guess we'll talk more in depth about the GT3 Pro Invitational Series. That was a team run event, wasn't it? So you had several other drivers in the car with you for that, but
yep.
We obviously look at that particular league, whether it's the Logitech G V8 Pro Invitational or the GT3s, as probably being one of our premier domestic leagues. I think it's probably fair to say. So,
yep.
It's the team and yourselves in first involvement with both of those this year, both the V8s and the GT3. So, how did you find, I guess, from a competitive point of view, those leagues?
I mean, we'll start with GT3 just because it's probably a little bit more relevant to kind of myself. But I mean, I like the initiative that they took to go and do a GT3 series. I think Australia's been needing a premier, I guess you could say, GT championship for a long time. Because there's plenty of talent in the GT cars here, but they don't have something to race in. And that's why myself, Cody, and Dylan as well, obviously he's not doing as much now, but that's why we went over and wanted to do European racing. It was because that's where the competitive GT3 stuff was. And it was good to finally see something here that was closer to what we get overseas. Unfortunately, like the level, like don't get me wrong, there's plenty of good guys in that were in that championship. Like they were 2 or 3 tenths off what we were doing over a race run. They could match us pretty closely on quali pace. But it wasn't the same level you'd get overseas, which obviously we're a much smaller kind of population. You're not going to get the same level because you haven't got as many people. But yeah, it would have been nice to see more, like even Lobs, if they did it. That would have been really good because that would have been another car that could compete against us. And more or less, like the whole season, we were pretty much the car to beat. Daytona we didn't win, but we also didn't have the right car. And Bathurst we didn't win, but we also were not trying to win. I was trying to get our second car second in the championship. So there was elements, but more or less we were the car to beat the whole season.
Yeah.
Which is like, don't get me wrong, winning's great, but also being able to race it in a competitive field is also just as satisfying. So yeah, I would have liked to have seen a little bit more competition, but then again, it was also a pretty late initiative from ASRG. So for what time they had available and resources they had available to them, from what I've been told, they did do a really, really good job. I don't believe the championship's happening next year from what I've also been told and what I've been kind of hearing with rumors, which is unfortunate because I really, really wanted to see that championship progress. And I spoke with the admins about some ideas that I had that would help, in my opinion, boost the series, which would have been going from a endurance racing format to a sprint racing format, similar to what you see in real world GT3 racing. And from the chats that I had with them, they were really, really keen on it. But yeah, I think some other things have gone on in the background that have not allowed for that to happen. Obviously, there's no announcements on what they are doing. I know they are running a second series, but I don't know what it will be. So yeah, there was potential in the series, and I don't think it was a terrible season. I think there were aspects that could have been improved, but obviously it's an inaugural season. It's never going to be perfect off the bat, which they could have definitely implemented for 2026. But unfortunately, that probably won't happen. Which, if Ricky's listening, there's an opportunity for Premier, which I have spoken to Rick about as well. That there is a genuine opportunity. There's a gap in the market for a Premier GT3 category. Again, this is all kind of not announced things, but from what I've heard. So yeah, like I said, there's an opportunity for PL to maybe become that next kind of premier category for GT racing in Australia, which I think is why Ricky wanted to try and get myself and Zach and some other guys into the championship as well, to try and boost that level, and make it more appealing for other really, really strong drivers to hop on board. So hopefully for next season it picks up again. There's every chance that I'll probably do it again as well next season, just because I did like the racing, and it gave me something else to go and race. So there's plenty of positives, I think, and things for Ricky to look at with PEL. But yeah, I think with GT Pro, it's most likely going to turn into a Porsche Cup series from everything that I've been told. So, which I'm also not against because I really like the new Cup car. So we'll see how that plays out. A bit of a law drop.
See you in the Cup car.
Some of the things you just said then make a lot of sense to me now after doing the Premier Endurance League survey, where there's a couple of questions in there about how would you feel if they went to a sprint format where it was like 2 1-hour races or two or 3 40-minute races or something like that. And I'm like, this is weird. Like, this
is a change up.
Yeah, like I'm pretty sure I'd spoken to Ricky about like changing like different formats like in the past, but nothing like to that extremity. But yeah, I was just sitting there, I'm like, this is very different. Where does this come from? And now it all makes sense.
Yeah. So yeah, like, because I've spoken to Ricky a fair bit with kind of how things are going with PEL, and yeah, I have mentioned kind of not telling him to go and do it because it's his league. He's got every right to do what he's doing, and he's doing an awesome job at it. But
it's his league, but I all the time like to tell him how to run it. And you should
Fair enough. But yeah, I was dropping things about GT Pro that I would like to see. So I think maybe there's been a few things that have been adopted and put forward in the survey. Which looking through it as well, like I was actually like, there's some good things in this that hopefully enough people can get on board with, and maybe we'll see some things happen for next year.
There was one in there that I saw, and like initially I didn't know how I felt about it, but like I was in favor of it. I liked it. But there was one in there about a format of if we did, was it like 3 or 4 hour races, but then 2 driver, so like a two driver
Yeah,
team.
the two
for
driver
free.
team.
Yeah, for like 4-hour races and whatnot. And when I first saw it, I'm like, oh, I don't know about that. But I'm pretty sure I put down the yard like that because I thought about it. I thought, oh, that's actually pretty cool because I could just picture that. Like, imagine if it was like, say, me and you, Dean, and like how that would go. Say, for instance, if I was starting the race and you'd be sitting there just going, I'm never going to get a chance to drive. Like,
I know exactly how that would go. It would be whoever drives first leaves the person second 1 incident point to complete their stint.
Yeah.
Checks out. Nah.
Yeah. Oh god.
But yeah,
Oh, God.
there's plenty of things on the horizon which I think could be good, but things need to be put in place or things need to happen in the background for them to work. So I think 2026 there's a lot of potential for a lot of different people to make an impact. It's just whether or not it happens.
Yeah. Pressure's on, Ricky. Get it done.
I'll shake Provenzali. It's about to bankroll a new GT3 league.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So well, look, hypothetically, then, do you think you'll get more Eclipse guys across to Premier Endurance League next season? If that does, what your sort of fears do come to reality, and ASRG don't run the GT3 series next year?
I think there's every chance because, like I said, we do have a few new signings, and it would be good for them to actually be able to race, have something to race under, and compete under for Eclipse. So I think there's every chance that we could get a few more guys across and competing in PEL, which will hopefully, again, bump up the competitiveness of the series. And plus, if there is a bit more incentive within the championship as well, whether that be prize money or whatever, or something that comes together, then
Empty the
there's
pockets, Rick.
there's every chance that we'll definitely try and get some of our boys across to compete, and we'll see what happens. But realistically, I think for a championship to succeed in comparison to ASRG, there will need to be a not considerable, but there will need to be a prize pool attached to it.
An incentive to do it, yeah.
Unfortunately, ASRG, although they're doing a good job, they don't have prize money, right? Which sucks because for a championship that is as big as it is, whether that's GT Pro or Supercars or Porsche Cup, whatever they want to run, there needs to be incentive for the drivers to compete, because what happens is you get to the halfway point of the season and no one wants to race in the championship anymore because they're not fighting for anything. Especially when Phil Sell's like buggered off and he's already 400 points out of the field. Which again, there's nothing wrong with that. Like, he's done the best job the whole year. Like, that's racing. Like, that's what Max did for the last 2 years in F1 before this year, obviously. So
everyone just stopped developing their car.
Exactly, and there's no incentive to go racing. So I think for another championship to have prize money will elevate it enough that it will get closer to the same kind of reputation, or not reputation, but same level of interest that ASRG has. So ASRG only has, well, in my opinion, only has the numbers, I guess, and interest because of the people that are running it, because they've been running sim racing in Australia for the last 10 years. So they've got that legacy that everyone's followed for ages. So it's the OSR crew, all those kind of guys that have run V8 Vets, V8 Scops, Dev Series, all that. So people have followed that. Where obviously PL, for example, is a relatively new thing. And this is something I've discussed with Ricky. Is it's a new championship. It's obviously got a very good core group of members with your limited series and obviously your open series now. And you see it through the entries. There's always 80 entries going into a season kind of thing. There's a good core group, but there's, to grab that next level of drivers, there needs to be that incentive. And if you can put that incentive up, I said, whether that's PL or another championship that wants to do something with some prize money, that will help elevate it to enough level that people want to do it. and then hopefully that's when you start to get your stronger boys coming across because they're like, oh, well, I want to go race for some money. And that's when you get that really, really dense top end of the field. And yeah, we'll see if that happens. But that would be, in my opinion, the best way to try and combat the legacy that ASRG's got is, bring up some prize money that incentivizes you to go racing.
That makes a lot of sense to me. That explains why Ricky was messaging me last night asking for $50.
Are we sure it was for the prize money though?
Yeah. Oh god! But Packets. Do you remember when I think we did the first season of PEL, or was the second?
No, it was second. I think
they had prize money in that. Did they not?
I think our first one, I'm pretty sure they did, and then
it was
they
first, second,
away
and
from
third
it.
got paid out.
Yeah,
each race.
Yeah, because
I remember
Scalzi got money for it.
Yeah,
and
I remember Ricky. I remember Ricky sandbagging races when he would be in second place, so he didn't have to give himself money.
That's right.
Pay himself from one bank account into the other one.
Old Sheikh Provenzali. That's how he made all his money. He gave it to himself. But no, I remember it was there in the beginning, and it was an interesting concept because that was different. It wasn't huge amounts of money, but if you banked it up, and if you did what you did this season when you won across just about all races,
end up with something at the end of the season which you go, that was worthwhile.
You're going iRacing for free in the next season, essentially.
Pretty much. Yeah.
So you're paying your next 3 months way forward with iRacing or something like that.
Whatever you're doing.
I don't remember the exact figures, but it was a different way of thinking, and that they had 50 cars on the grid from the word go. So whether that was that lended itself to
Yeah.
But it was still very much like a more focused as a development league at that point in time because they capped the iRating at 3.
Yep, 3.5.
Yeah, but obviously now they've, they walked that line for a little while, and now they've opened it up with the Open Series and try to get some more top end talent. So, yeah, it's an interesting idea. It's obviously tough to fund it.
Yeah, and
over
that's
and over
the
and
thing.
over again.
Like, it always comes down to funds. Like, Eve, it happens in real world. It happens in sim racing as well. Like, you need to be able to fund, these championships for people to go racing in, and it's always hard. It's hard to get sponsorship, even if it is for a couple grand or $5,000 or something like that. Like, it's hard to try and get money for things and convince people that it's worth the return on investment, and that's half the battle. So yeah, there's a lot of things that obviously need to happen and go well for something like this to eventuate. But yeah, in my opinion, that's the best way to try and go forward to try and produce another league or championship that can get the same level of competitiveness as your Logitech V8 Pro Series.
Yep. No, definitely. Well, let's hope it happens. It's been a pretty awesome conversation so far. I was just thinking now, as we probably look to, I can't even tell how long we've been going for, but I'm assuming we're well over the hour mark now. But just thinking, moving ahead now to 2026, what are your sort of prime focuses going to be league wise and car wise for 2026?
So I was very up and down on whether or not I'd want to do V8 Pro again next year. Just because there was a point in the championship where I didn't enjoy the car. And to be fair, the car is still not the most enjoyable thing to drive. But now... Just
quickly on that. Did you find that car... Just curious, because I raced it a little bit when it first launched, around about this time last year, was it not? I think it's about a year old now.
Close to.
And very much from the Gen 2, the car started out amazing, and then it kind of de-evolved from like an enjoyment point of view, it got harder and more difficult. Has there been a similar trend with the Gen 3? Because I haven't done a lot with it since January this year, to be honest with you.
Like off the rip, when everyone hopped on it for that like 1 week at Watkins or whatever it was, like Brody was doing it, Jared was doing it, all of the Eclipse guys were doing it. So like, yeah, we're gonna like try and win fucking V8 Pro and all that kind of stuff. Like, which to be fair, like, we did well. Like, don't get me wrong, but we were going in like, yeah, this is gonna be ace. Like, we were trying to work the car setup out. We put in a lot of hours to try and get it into a bit of a window. But I think you are right, but I don't think it's de-evolved through the sense of iRacing updates. I think it's de-evolved in the way you have to drive the car to go quick is very wrong. Like, it feels really, really wrong to push the car to the absolute limit. Like, for me, to drive the car and how we've kind of set the car up, you got to drive the car in so aggressively on the front wheel just to try and get it to turn. And it feels really wrong to drive a V8 supercar like that, because then you got to worry about trying to somehow put power down. And early on, we weren't driving the cars like that, so they were a little bit more enjoyable to drive because you weren't so worried about trying to get the front end in like a go-kart. So you could, you try and fade it into the corner a little bit more. Like, we were trying to work out how to drive the car properly. And then, once we figured out that you kind of got to drive it this certain way, it's a weird driving style to be really quick. And it's not the most enjoyable driving style. There's nothing really that wrong with it, but it's not a refined driving style. Like, you got to be pretty aggressive. You got to be up on the wheel pretty hard. But there's also such a fine line of that between pushing really hard and then chewing your tire up. So there's not a lot of room for error, and that's where the setup is. I think that's where Lobs have the advantage, because they've obviously built a setup that looks after its tire very well, but has really, really good raw pace, and that's where it's hard to match over a run.
I remember when I got released that car and everyone knew that Watkins was going to be the first week. And I remember I jumped in a couple of hosted sessions with some guys that we know, and they were like trying to put setups together. And I remember using the fixed setup because that was all everyone had at the time. And I remember driving it just going, oh, heaps of understeer, but it feels really planted in the rear. And I'm like, wow, this is pretty cool. And then when the week rolled over and the setups came out, it was the opposite. Like, it was so much on the nose and no rear end grip, and I struggled once setups came out. I was all right on a fixed setup, but I couldn't drive it on an actual setup.
Like when the car's set up for understeer and set for power down, it's easy to drive. But as soon as it switches to like trying to drive it really quick and driving it where you got plenty of front end, the exits become super, super difficult. And that's where you, like I said, you're on the verge of like blowing your rear tires off the car every lap, because you're trying to drive it so aggressively. And if you do it wrong for 2 laps, you've thrown your stint away. It's almost like how the GT3 tire model was before they did the revamp, where if you overdrove the car too early in the stint and peaked the pressures and temperature too high, you shot yourself in the foot for the rest of the stint. It's not the same in the sense that the reason that was, or the thing to complement that in the GT3 was to make sure you didn't overlap your brake inputs or your brake and throttle input, because that really spiked your pressures. And if you did really aggressive brake trace, that would peak your pressure and temp. So we've adapted what we call balloon braking, where you reverse brake trace pretty much. You ease into it, peak it, and then slowly come out of it. And that's to reduce the load going through the tire before you get to the corner. That got improved with the revamp, but we still use that technique in a GT3 car. But it's a similar kind of thing in the supercar, where if you overdrive the car in the first 3 laps and try and go like quali lap, you'll blow the tires off. So if you do that and like kind of look after the tire initially, generally your mid stint pace is pretty good. But then if you have 2 or 3 laps like I had at Adelaide, where I blew the rears up because I was trying to drive like a hero to catch the guys in front, I then struggled for the next 4 laps, and I went, I have to pit, and it kind of throws you off strategy because you're forced to pit.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's where the car's really, really difficult to drive and really hard to manage over a race. And is where I think I struggled as a driver, was because I've never had to really worry about tire wear and managing the tire across a stint. And I think
Yeah.
that has helped because I've developed that skill as a driver, and I can actually, like at Adelaide, I was in the middle part of the race, like 2/10 a lap quicker than Jared and all the Lobs cars. I think they
Yeah.
were conserving. Don't get me wrong. Like, I know Jared is not 2/10 fucking slower than me, but at that point in the race, I had the pace to be quicker than them by 2/10 a lap pretty comfortably. And that was
Yeah.
purely just because I'd learnt the skill throughout the season to look after the tire and learnt the way to drive the car where I could maximize lap time, but then also not blow the rear tires off, which I eventually did anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a real fine line between raw pace and exploding the rear tire and having no pace for the rest of the stint, which is where I think a lot of people have really hated the car just because it's so finicky in that regard. And that's where I personally hated it as well.
Yeah.
So we've got the hate relationship back with the supercar.
Pretty much.
Had pretty much in Gen 2.
In Gen 2. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, so then back to your original question.
Sorry, yes.
Go. Yeah. So V8 Pro I will probably do. Just purely because in my door contract, it does technically financially benefit me if I do race V8 Pro. So there's every reason that I should go and race that championship. And hopefully if PEL is a similar kind of, it becomes a similar level, then that would also be another thing that I'd hopefully get transferred as well with Door, is that financial benefit for competing in that championship. So yeah, so V8 Pro is what I'll look to do next year as well. Depending on what the ASRG second series is, whether that's Porsche Cup or GT3, I'll do that as well. Hoping there's prize money for that. I doubt it, but fingers crossed. We'll see what happens.
Yep.
I plan to run both those championships. PEL is probably going to be on the cards again, at least for season 1. We'll see how schedule's working for season 2. But season 1 definitely should be there. And then that's pretty much my Australian stuff done. Obviously, we got OSR 12 hour as well, which we will do. We're looking to field a few cars for that with some really, really strong lineups. So that should be really, really fun. And that's pretty much, at least for the time being, my Australian side of things. And then, as I mentioned before, when I go to Europe, I'll be doing special events, any one-off events, or if F4 World Championship comes back next year, I'll do that. And then to finish off the year, will most likely be IMSA Esports again. So that's kind of an overview of what 2026 will be. I'm kind of toying with the idea of going back streaming, just nice. for the events. So I think 2 years ago or last year as well, I was streaming. Built quite a good following just through racing your Daytona weeks and being with all the beef. So that was good. Obviously it's not not that good money, which is unfortunate, but at least to then stream my POVs for special events and all that kind of stuff, I think would be cool, especially if I want to try and make it look like I'm a full-time, sim racing driver. So that's kind of what my plans are for next year, and we'll see if that eventuates or not.
It's if you get there, you're gonna have to do that type of stuff, aren't you? Like if you get to where you want to be, so you may as well prepare like you're gonna do it. So yeah, absolutely. That'd be interesting to watch over the course of the year for sure. I know Packets would definitely follow you in the streaming world. You're about up to 145 different iRacing streamers that you follow on your Packets. Not all of them are English speaking either.
That's what I watch on a daily basis, mate.
just the Spanish streamers that are just swearing at everyone every 2 seconds.
Yeah. There's some doozies out there.
Oh yeah.
Packets now speaks 4 languages, and it's
as a result of
iRacing streamers.
Love that.
Oh. Well, what's the early tip then for the Bathurst 12 hour for the car choice?
Great question. I don't know.
I'm not going to give anything away.
Nah. Off the back of GT Pro, I don't know if there's been. I think there might have been a little bit of a BOP adjustment after the build. But off the back of GT Pro, my guess is the Acura and the Ford. Realistically, the most competitive cars. And then looking also at the official week, the Ford was the strongest car. So I think at the moment with the current BOP on base iRacing, the Ford is pretty much the choice, which is unfortunate because I'd like to see another car competitive that isn't the Ford.
Since the new tyre model, it seems like it's been a massive Mustang Cup, hey? Like, since the new tyre model come out.
It's been properly OP. I think with the BOP update as well that came out with that tyre revamp, it just made the Mustang stupidly good. And they haven't really done much to negate the fact that it's OP.
Yeah, because prior to that, the Mustang struggled on release.
It was
like
bad.
It had no pace. And it was such a hard car to drive too. It was inconsistent. Like on the tires, like the rear end was just had a mind of its own at times. Like mid corner, it was horrendous. But I drove it not long ago. The new tyre model. I'm like, oh wow, this is like
it's dialed,
a lot better.
Like, it's on rails. Like obviously I drove it for PL, and we had for Road Atlanta. I had my IMSA Esports set up, which had like 50 hours of setup work done in it. And that thing was on rails. Like the car was so easy to drive, and Zach had the setup as well, obviously because he's my teammate. And he's like, dude, like you couldn't make a mistake with it. Like it's so stuck to the road, and it did everything you wanted. Like there was at one point in the race towards the end where we were like 4 or 5 tenths a lap quicker than everyone, and majority of that was purely to setup because, like I said, it had so much effort put into it that it was just dialed. And when the Mustang is like on rails, it is unbeatable in my opinion as of the current iRacing spec.
Because I remember when it got released, and then the next season of Premiere was coming up, and I did what I always do, and I test every car, and try and work out which one feels better, what the best one is, like. And then I remember, like, I was so gung-ho on wanting to run the Mustang, and I was just like, man, I can't drive this thing, like, at all. I'm like, if I drive this, like, I'll just regret it. And, like, I'm glad I didn't, because everyone that drove it that season absolutely struggled, like, for pace with it. And if they did have pace, they died within the first couple of laps with it anyway. Like, they couldn't keep it on track. Yeah, it used to get the worst snap oversteer, I remember, like. But now to me, it feels like what the current Merc was like on a release originally.
When the Merc was just like,
So when it was released just before that Spa 24-hour, like it was
the most broken car. Yeah, it was like you just turn the wheel, and
so
went
fast.
Bang, it just turned.
Yeah, like, that's what it feels like to me now. Yeah,
that's a good way to put it.
They went. Yeah, and then they went and destroyed it a couple of updates later, and has been the same since.
Pretty much, yeah. But I'm surprised with the Mustang. Like usually, it peaks. The car is good for like one season. Like we saw it with the McLaren, we saw it with the Porsche when it got released. We saw it also with Lambo and Audi for a season, and Acura. Like they were good for one season and then dead. Like dead in the water. This Mustang's been good for 2.5 seasons nearly. Like it's weird how they haven't rectified it. And like in IMSA Esports, we got bopped. We had the worst bop because of it, because the car was because annoyingly with IMSA Esports, they didn't use their original bop testing system. They just went off iRacing and what iRacing said to use. So iRacing just didn't have the data for it, and we got nerfed like crazy. But then also in DNLS, which is like I said, the German the Nürburgring series, the virtual version of it, the Mustangs have like 2% power reduction and like 50 kilos just to try and make it even with the BMW. Like the
BMW used to be a weapon around there too. Like it was so unbeatable. I remember, like
the best car there outside of the Merc, outside of the Merc, really. And the Mustang cooks it by like 2 seconds a lap on like raw
crazy.
It is a bit broken. So yeah, I'm surprised iRacing haven't like hopped on the typical we're gonna bop this car into the ground. But
Yeah.
We'll see if they
But that is-
might do it before Daytona 24. I don't know.
Yeah. The GT3 bot's been really weird lately. Like the Mustang's consistently been fast, but was it the other week the end of the last season, IMSA was at Daytona.
Yep.
And for whatever reason, because they did that update with the Porsche where they gave it less drag, I think it was, so they gave it a bit more top end speed. Yeah, and the thing was a weapon. Everyone ran the Porsche at Daytona. I'm like, no one ever runs the Porsche at Daytona. I'm like, how is this thing like this OP here, like out of all the places? Like that made no sense to me, eh? Like,
yeah. And it also helped that with obviously the new bus stop is a thing. It sucks. I fucking despise
it's bad.
it. It's horrible.
It's really bad.
But
I need to go and check this out.
The Porsche,
it's bad,
you drive straight. You could drive straight across the first curb. So the Porsche is like 2 tenths quicker through the bus stop alone compared to every other car. And then it was also OP on the straights. So it had like 4 tenths on the field, like on every other car. And it's like, well, sick. I guess we're running the Porsche. Like, I've got my opinions on the new bus stop. It's bloody horrible. But what do you do?
It's pretty bad, eh?
It's
funny, but it's like, nah, there's not. There used to be a rhythm to it, but now it just feels like you're just walking on eggshells through it. Like it's so difficult to navigate.
If in my opinion, if they got rid of the anti-cuts on the last 2 curbs, it'd be okay. Because the first one you can get away with it because they're far enough to the inside that you only need to use just the first bit of curb. But when you go through the last 2 bits, if you use too much curb on that last bit of the left, the right, you go sky high. But if you miss it and then end up wide towards the tire barrier, you turn into a rocket ship, like because you hit the anti-cuts and it just pings you into the sky. So, I think if they got rid of it, it'd be okay. But
because even like the LMP2 is a rail on that final curb on the exit too. So I remember watching like a basic Ollie stream, and he did a race there, and he was in the LMP2, and he was just absolutely launching it off that final curb. I'm like, how's it not getting aero damage or floor damage? Like, it was so odd. Like, crazy.
I know they have changed the track limits though, so you can only have 2 wheels over the curb. So hopefully that helps kind of reduce the RNG aspect of the chicane, because you can't just like fly over the end of the anti-cuts. But I still think there needs to be adjustment to it, especially before Daytona 24. Like it's almost as bad as. Do you remember the anti-cut that they chucked on the inside of that like 3rd corner of the bus stop before that one Daytona 24-hour race?
The sausage curves.
Yeah, the one they just slapped on there for no reason.
Yeah.
That was the worst thing they ever did. This is almost as bad as that. Like, I remember it dropped like a week and a half before the race, and we go in and test. And we're like, why is there a fat sausage curve on the inside? Like, they didn't even tell anyone about it. They just popped this fat sausage curve on the inside, and like
so many people got caught out that weekend of that.
I remember that. That was all. Our Discord was just lighting up because we don't practice for too many special events, but I think guys were in there testing cars, and then all of a sudden they drop a sausage curb like a week out from the race, and everything changes.
Yeah, that was miserable.
I remember
and we drive around it for 24 hours.
Yeah,
I swear they did 3. They dropped the sausage and then they had to nerf it or something. Like they ended up doing, because I think the amount of backlash they copped for it.
Yeah,
they did put
they
like
might have changed.
Was that the same one that they? It's probably the same event when they had all those server registration issues.
Probably.
Yeah,
honestly,
I think it
surprised me.
Yeah.
Because the next year I think they got rid of them, but they make it smaller. I can't remember. They did something with them, but
iRacing doing iRacing things, eh?
That's cool. Well, so it sounds like Mustang's still dominating the GT3.
Yep.
Can iRacing be trusted to do the BOP? Like if you're league racing now, and you, especially like someone like let's say Premier Endurance League, do you have to look at considering doing your own BOP? Like, because it doesn't really seem like iRacing does their BOP based on Not really
Well,
sure
the
what it's
thing
based
is,
on.
they get questioned on their BOP a lot, and they actually mention on their podcast quite a bit. They're like, "There's nothing wrong with our BOP," and I'm like, ugh, "Really? Come on."
Yeah.
I don't see Mustang dominating the GT like real life GT3. Like
No.
I know
The
you can't
Mustang's
just
Yeah.
leave it all.
Pig. In GT
Yeah.
World Challenge, the Mustang is a pig. Like, I think they've had one
There's
good
about 4
result.
people that run it last time I looked too.
Yeah, it's
They're
wasn't
normally
a
good at
horrible
like Daytona and Le Mans. It's all the big
Yeah.
fast tracks is usually where they're
the
good
big
at.
tracks. Yeah, they're really, really good.
Yeah.
But like DTM was a good example. So that was the first year they did the Mustangs in DTM, and they were pretty much last. And it's not like the team didn't know what
Yeah.
they're doing. Like they ran Mercs the year before, and they were more or less up the front. And they come in
Yeah.
with the Mustang, and they were just so slow, just because the car does not work at like small tracks,
Yeah.
which a lot of the DTM tracks are. So like it suits your Porsche, well, I guess the Beamers are pretty good as well. But that's because they got bulk top end, but they suit your more nimble cars. Where the Ford was just like this big heavy boat that just wouldn't turn basically. And yeah, then you go to iRacing and the thing's just broken. It's like it doesn't drive like a boat. It drives like an LMP2 car. That's like it's like when the Ferrari was OP. I don't know if you remember that. It was like Spa last year. Right, the
Yeah.
Ferrari, if you got it dialed, drove like an LMP2 car. It was just like so much front end and it had so much aero grip. And I was like, that's pretty close to what the Ford is now. It's just got so much grip at high speed, you just can't compete with it.
Yeah.
It's been a while since that thing's been competitive too, hasn't it? The Ferrari.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I have a soft spot for that car because that week of Spa, which was just before the 24-hour, we built probably the best setup, one of the best setups I've ever driven. And in official week, I was like pantsing red line guys like easily.
Mm.
Like I was putting 3 or 4 seconds on them on a race. I'm like, we're chilling, bro. Like we're gonna be on, and then they just bopped at the shit. I'm like, ah. But we hopped in the beam, and to be fair, I did lead like a good 3 hours of that race against Redline. So we did cook with the BMW, but like still, the Ferrari was just so nice to drive, and it suits my driving style a lot, just because it's very like on the nose, which is how I like to drive my cars. So I do have a soft spot for it, and yeah, it is unfortunate that it is a bit nerfed, but yeah, just iRacing needs to do a better job with the bop. But in saying that, the special event bop's been pretty good, in my opinion.
They're funny with it sometimes, but because like you just said then, like, I remember the Ferrari, they literally murdered the car to the point that everyone changed up their car because you couldn't run it.
Yep.
But then like we get times at like say Bathurst where the Acura is like just dominating through the official week, and then you think, oh yeah, they're gonna nerf that thing pretty hard,
and then
but then the bop comes around, they nerf another car, and you're like, what? Like,
makes no sense. Like I'm pretty sure for Bathurst this year, the Ferrari got 3.5% or some shit. It was like nuked. And then it rained anyway, so it didn't really matter what your car choice was. As long as you had like the Audi, Lambo, or Porsche, you were kind of singing. But it's they end up bopping just the wrong cars, which happens occasionally. But like I said, towards the end of this year, I think their special event bops been pretty good in my opinion. There's always been about 3 or 4 cars that are a good enough choice to go and win the race. But then your bottom 4 cars are just in the mud, like useless. You wouldn't touch them. So they can get their fast cars in a good window, but when the cars aren't good, they're shit. Because obviously in real life, if the car's shit, they give it more power, or they give it less weight, or whatever. In iRacing, they can't do that. They can't give a car more power out of nowhere. They can only bop other cars to that, which I think is a little bit of a flaw. I think if they could give power adjustments where they can add power or take weight out, that would really help their balanced performance. And it would make it easier as well for leagues to do balanced performance, because if a car is genuinely horrible, they don't have to worry about trying to bop the best car down to that shit car. They can boost that, say it's the Porsche, they can boost the Porsche a little bit and then not worry about having to bop every other car back to that Porsche level. You just improve the bottom cars to half match what your top cars are, or slightly kind of bring it to the middle kind of thing. But I don't know if that's something iRacing's ever going to do. But I think that would help them do their own BOPs.
Yeah. So if you're listening, Rick, do some BOPs.
Don't get started on that, because there's a whole heap of stuff that needs to go into BOP testing. It's just a pain in the ass.
Yeah. That sounds like an infinite black hole to dive down.
It is a black hole.
I was gutted for us because we jumped back into ports for the last couple of rounds, and I was just like, we had Motegi rain, so like that was a godsend because the ports are so good in the wet. But when we got the Fuji, I was just like, this sucks. This thing's lost. This thing has lost so much pace. Like, it used to be such a dominant car, now it's just nowhere. Like,
absolutely nerfed.
Fuji was a struggle. I've not been in many cars where they got worse over a stint. More of the fuel come out of it, but that was kind of like the Porsche. Once the fuel and the weight come out of it, the thing just got more lively and more lively. And I've
had some good results. Yeah, I've had some good results at Fuji and the Merc in the past and that, and like, so I'm fairly familiar with it and I really like it. But yeah, the Porsche, it just did not feel like the same track at all. It felt horrible.
You got to drive the car so, like, it requires a genuinely different driving style to all the other GT3 cars. Like, every GT3 car has its own like little quirks, but the Porsche, you need to overhaul your driving style to actually make it fast. And that's when the car's good. When it's terrible on block, just forget about it. Like, it's just no good.
God. Yeah, well, we just come out of the Cup car. We've been running the Cup car all year, so we're like, oh, we'll just keep the Porsche thing going. And
poor decision.
Yeah, it seemed like a great one after Motegi. Packets would have won that race. Instead, he got a minute and a half of penalties and finished a lap down. But
it wasn't promising until that one.
Fuji was no good.
It was all great until turn 1, lap 1.
Literally, yeah.
Oh, well, this has been awesome, Damon. Thank you so much for jumping on. It's been such a good conversation. But mate, before we sort of wrap it up, do you want to take over for a second and give anyone a shout out, or you know, I guess any kudos to throw out there?
I mean, I think the person that I really need to give the most thanks for this year is Zach Rattray White. Like, if he didn't put in the work that he did for the supercar, we would have been nowhere. Like, we tried to do our best to try and get the car on the money in the first couple of rounds when he was still driving for Vermilion, so before he even came to us. And we were like, we're doing an all right job. Like, we're more or less there. And then we started getting absolutely slammed by Lobs. Like, Lobs cooked. And then we got Zach on board. And from then he pretty much just was relentless with his setup work. And he's the reason we ended up, 2 and 3 in the championship. And I can't thank the work that he put in, because it was the reason that I ended up 3rd in the championship, and the only reason I had any good results in the supercar this entire year. So huge thanks to him. And then also big thanks to Rick as well for taking it upon himself to invite me to PEL and make my experience for my first run through the championship as good as it could have been. Super welcoming. Was very open to talking about things as well throughout the season. So he gave me some things, I gave him some things, and I think it's been a really good kind of little bit of a partnership. And so I can't thank Rick enough. And also big thanks to you guys for getting me on the podcast as well. It's been a great 2 hours, so it's been awesome chats.
Bloody hell, it's gone that long, has it? Hey, you're most welcome. Thank you for being open about jumping on, and obviously Ricky, big thanks to him for sort of linking us up as well. It's been really interesting. We've talked briefly in the past about Eclipse, and how they've been on the rise as a bit of a team, and sort of some of the names that are in that team, especially with the GT3. So you guys, I know from what you were saying, are sort of pretty casual about it, but the team's pretty damn strong on the domestic front anyway. So wishing you, mate, all the best in the new year. Obviously, happy Christmas or Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, all that good stuff. But we'll keep it. yeah, we'll keep an eye on you moving forward into next season. But Packets, mate, what have you got any final thoughts on this one before we wrap it up?
No, it's been a pleasure having you on here, mate, and talking to you, and all the best for the future. And it sounds like you've got a lot on your plate next year, and I'm keen to see where you go with that.
It'll be good. It's going to be properly busy 2026, that's for sure.
Yeah,
if you need any baggage handlers, Packets and I are available to go to Abu Dhabi next year. We don't mind sinking ourselves to chauffeur level, that's for sure. So
yeah,
mate, it's awesome. I hope sim racing and iRacing take you more places next year as well. So, have you got any social media stuff that people might be able to jump in and follow you on?
But at the moment, realistically, just Instagram. So it's Damon Woods 56_. I would plug the Twitch, but I'm not streaming on Twitch. So, but it is the same as my Instagram. So yeah, if anyone wants to go and see a wobbler that hasn't actually posted anything, then come on over.
That's what we're all about. That's all right. If they're still listening to us, they know that we didn't post for anything for a long time. So into that type of stuff.
Yeah, fair enough.
Very good. Awesome. Great stuff, mate. Once again, just awesome to have you on. Anyone tuning in there, we've got a big couple episodes coming up, including this one for the show. So make sure you are following out there. We are available on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Apple Podcasts, and also Spotify. So